Speaking of Jeff, well, he comes to the ring carrying a sack.
Oh, yes, he fucking does.
So he's cutting his promo like his usual, like, I'm a badass, I want my title shot, give me my title shot, I'm Jeff Jarrett, blah, 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 blah. And then he opens the sack.
He has old mate Stone in the sack. With the line, which is like, this line killed me because of Jeff's delivery. He said, I'm going to cripple a midget live on pay-per-view. And the crowd was like, yeah, yeah you are, Jeff. And then Puppet comes out to confront Jeff Jarrett about this because it's gimmick infringement.
He's the only one that can kill a midget live on pay-per-view.
To which, of course, Jeff delivers the line of stand up when you're talking to me.
Very rude.
And Puppet responds by evening the odds with a motherfucking gat. Which gets, like, no reaction.
Puppet pulls a gun on Jeff Jarrett and the crowd is just like, eh.
And, like, Jarrett sells it amazingly because he's like, what the fuck? But, like, yeah, the crowd doesn't give a shit. Security's back, of course, now. So they all get in the ring and they're all, like, cowering from the gun as Puppet's waving it around before Jarrett saves the day by killing him with a chair shot. And then for some reason, Elix Skipper is still in the ring and takes another chair shot to the back as well.
You know, they say that well, dumb people say, the way to take down a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The real way to take out a bad guy with a gun is Jeff Jarrett with a steel chair.
Ha ha ha! Ain't I great?
I love, like, through the history of the 6 shows so far we've watched, we're on to the 7th. There is 2 people who have been presented as the biggest badass in TNA history.
And they were both in this fucking segment.
There's Jeff Jarrett and there's Puppet. And I believe Puppet demonstrably proved his toughness over Jarrett by pulling a gun on him. So Puppet is officially the biggest badass in TNA history.
Jeff Jarrett had to attack Puppet from behind.
A coward.
I hope this leads to a big Puppet Jeff Jarrett match, but I have a small inkling that it's not going to happen.
After the match, Steamboat came out, laid down Law and Order, got into it with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, after the gun segment.
Steamboat. I like the way this is the show that's supposed to be like everything's back to normal, where we have all the security in place. Ricky Steamboat's here to bring order and
it starts with an attack and a gun.
Yeah, respectability, and then Puppet pulls a gun in the second segment.
Yeah. So was there any like negative like reaction due to this, or like were we so far past Pillman pulling a gun that this thing just didn't matter anymore?
We were so far past Pillman putting a gun that this thing didn't matter anymore.
And it was pay-per-view, I suppose. You could watch people getting railed on pay-per-view and it was fine. So I think pulling a fake gun is probably alright.
And like it's weird that this moment has kind of like disappeared from the public consciousness of weird TNA shit.
I don't think it has, because this moment is embedded in my brain.
But yeah, you just watch it and it will never leave. But like, when people mention the dumb things that happened in TNA history, you never hear them bring up Puppet pulling a gun anymore. And it's brilliant.
I have this in my head for like a long time, obviously. And the image of Puppet pulling it and holding it to the sky, and then it cuts to Jarrett who goes, oh, that's like embedded in my brain and has been for years.
Clearly you were a true TNA fan as opposed to other people who've forgotten all of TNA's greatest moments. I posted this at the Impact Twitter once there. I was like, maybe I should.
You definitely should.
Because it was like building up to the return to the asylum. It's like, great asylum moments. Puppet's got a gun.
I wish you did.